Hey guys, it's Megan again. So, I was sitting here trying to come up with stuff that would be both beneficial, interesting, and funny at the same time to talk to you guys about. Well, I've told you in the past videos that I follow this guy, McJugger Nuggets. I also follow this other family out of North Carolina called the Holdernesses. Nisses, I think that's how you say it. And it's a husband and a wife and their kids, and they do these funny little videos and songs and spoofs and stuff, and they put stuff out a couple times a week, and I don't know, they're kind of funny. They do little jingles and stuff. There was a video that went viral a couple years back called Christmas Jammies, or In My Christmas Jammies, and I've followed them off and on ever since. And I saw in one of their videos they recently moved. I don't know if they left the state. I think they stayed in the state and moved to a different house, but I could be wrong. But it's just funny how you watch that family get down and do some funky videos together. And it got me thinking that over the years in my family, you know, I would say my parents weren't cool like that, but that's not really how I want to put it. Nobody ever really did stuff like that. I mean, my dad would do like commercials and stuff because he used to he was in the Air Force, and he used to be in the communications squadron, so he did some work with the public affairs office, and he did radio, TV kind of stuff, the AFRTS spots, and the I guess, I don't want to call it base news, or I don't know if it was like a the military channel. I don't think it was like C-SPAN, but I might be right. That might be about the accuracy, at least for us when we lived over there. And I'm sure there's other places that have their own little kind of, I don't want to say closed captioning, that's not really how I want to say it, but it was the AFRTS stuff and the military channels and whatnot. What people don't realize, at least back, and it was in the 90s, because it was the 80s and 90s, I lived overseas, the internet was coming about towards the end of that part, but we didn't watch stuff on the computer. Watching videos, we couldn't even hear of that. We would watch stuff that came on the TV, and when you live overseas, you're only limited as to what you can watch, because most of the stuff is in the language of the country you're living in. So like cable over there, I remember living in, I want to say it was like Japan or Norway or Germany. I think it was Norway. We got The Simpsons and Married with Children. And Little House on the Prairie, I think I remember somewhere, but that might have been when we went on base and hung out at the, I don't even know if we really want to call it the recreation center, but it kind of was. It was a place, and I don't know if it was where we could do our laundry if we didn't have a laundry facility where we were living at, or if it was just a place for us to hang out and blow off some steam and let mom and dad relax, or be entertained, or I don't remember exactly what it was. And it wasn't very often that I remember being there, but I just remember going to this place, and it could just be one of those deals where we just did something to get out of the house. I don't know. Or we went there to watch stuff. I really don't remember much. My childhood overseas has become more of a distant memory, more of a blur than, I was sitting here the other day trying to think of stuff, and there was a lot of things that I used to be able to remember a lot clearer that I can't anymore. So, we never did anything cool, like we'd make videos with the family and stuff like that. I mean, we never had that sort of dynamic, and to see other people's families do stuff like that is cool. And I just wish I could get, my Jamie to do some of that stuff with me, because I think that would be so much fun if we could make some cool videos together. But he works a lot, and I need to maybe come up with a more creative way of doing things, and I don't know. I'm just going to keep talking until something comes to mind, I guess. Let's see. I could always take my camera and film, my family in a family gathering, and, the kids, the nephews, they do stuff, and they make you laugh, and sometimes you get it caught on on a video. My sister and my dad tape things all the time that's funny. My other sister sometimes does with her kids, and you know, it's just one of those things that you have to be there at the right moment to get it, and it's really, sometimes it's really funny, but I sit there and go, that's a moment you should have put on camera. Well, to be honest, if we spent less time with the cameras and more time interacting with each other, we'd have those memories, but we just wouldn't see them solidified on a screen or in a file where we could watch them over and over. So, you know, that's the coolest thing. My family's never did skits or anything. I look over at McJugger Nuggets and watch him and his dad and his brother, Jesse and Jeffrey Ridgway, and their father, Jeffrey Sr. Ridgway, and their mother, I don't remember her name, and Uncle Larry, and a man named Corn, and Garfunkel, and all, you know, all the people that go in their videos, you know, they are used to being in front of a camera, and it's like a reality show because it's sort of their life, but I wonder if there's some of it that's maybe not, and it's just put on there for purely, excuse me, entertainment purposes. I really don't know. I just wish that I could come up with something really cool and really, like, cutthroat and funny, and, you know, it's something that, hey, I did a skit and now I can do more of them because I can get creative like that. You know, I thought about writing little skits and, you know, doing little role-playing type deals, but then, really, do people actually still watch those? Did a little 5-minute skit, write a little play, and then both of you guys perform it. Well, it depends on what the play's about. And do you need props? And if so, how often do you need to practice it? And can I do the editing for it to make it all pieced together right? There's a lot of stuff that goes into some of those that I really don't know if I can do it on the equipment that I have. That's why I'm trying to do better. Let's see. What can I talk about? A lot of you, well, some of you guys know if you've watched my earlier videos that I am type 2 diabetic. And I recently got in a diabetic meter from an online company, and my glucometer, which is a diabetic meter that allows me to do a blood test. I take a blood sample, I use this little lancet pen and I prick my finger and I get a drop of blood. I put this little strip into this little meter, and then it talks to me. It tells me, you know, I've got something in, you know, that welcome, my meter's on, my strip's in, please wait, then please deposit blood, and then it does testing, and then it tells me it verbally tells me what my, you know, my blood sugar number is. And I thought that was really weird, but at the same time, there's times where, you know, if I'm tired or if I'm having an episode where either my sugars are too high or my sugars are too low and I test it, sometimes I may not be able to read it clearly because I'm distraught or I'm having issues, and if I hear it, maybe I'll get what it's trying to say better than if I just try to look at it and think it says one thing. So, I don't know. I think it's a cool thing to have because there's people out there who are either hard of hearing or can't hardly see, and I mean, I can prick my finger and do the testing probably with my eyes shut if I have all the equipment in front of me and I know what I'm doing. Excuse me. But if it's dark and I'm doing it, then if I know what I'm doing and I get it right and everything in the dark, then it'll just read it to me and I don't have to turn on the light to see what it is. Because sometimes if I check it when I'm in bed and it's dark, I'll take my cell phone, turn on the little light on my cell phone, and I'll put it over something just so I can see it, like my finger or my meter, and read it. And this one, at least I don't have to do that because it'll tell me what the reading is. So Excuse me, it's kind of late here. I should probably be going to bed soon. But I think that's kind of cool. I almost was going to do a video where I showed you how to test your blood sugar on a meter and give you the name and the company and everything, but really I don't know who would want to sit and watch me test my blood sugar. Although, you know, some people do need to be taught how to do it, and some meters are different. There are some meters that require coding. I don't do well with those, so I like the ones that you don't have to code, that you just put the strip in and it reads it. So it's kind of funny though, if you think about it. A lot of insurance companies give you grief about, they'll pay for a meter and they'll pay for the lancets, and the lancets are these little things that you put in a pen, and it's got a little, it's like plastic, and there's an itty bitty thin needle on there. It's a I don't think it's a hollow needle, I might be wrong. And then you got a little cap to put on top, and what you're supposed to do is open the lancet pen, and you're supposed to open the tip of this thing, and you're supposed to load it, and then you screw the thing back on, and you pull the plunger back, and you dial it to where you need to do, and then you hit the button, and it's supposed to test your blood sugar. And then you squeeze that little part that you got onto this little strip, and it reads what your blood sugar is. And the strips aren't even, they're about maybe that long. They're not even, they're kind of thin, so you have to be careful with them. And then you need to make sure you deposit them when you're finished, because you don't want to get any blood anywhere. So I mean, I could have did a how-to video on how to do that, but it's really not that interesting. I could tell you about another movie, which I just told you in my last video about one. I could suggest a product or test a product out, which I was hoping to be able to get some kind of new segments or something going, but I haven't come up with a concept yet. And you know, Jamie had started a channel, Lurch's Minions, and he was going to do all things Minions and just talk and blog, but he hasn't really done that. Then he was going to do of beers from around the world. He was going to research, he was going to go out and buy different ones, and each week he was going to do a different one. He was going to research the origin, and he was going to sample them and give you a review. Well, that's a good idea, but he didn't follow through on that one. And I don't want to promise you guys that I'm going to do one thing and do another. I have slowed down my videos, but I'm still making videos. They're not as frequent, but I still make videos. Leaves you anticipating, because you don't know when I'm going to put one out. I don't do a regular schedule right now because I don't know what to cover or what you guys want to hear about. So anyways, I'm going to close this one for now, and then I just came up with an idea for another video that I'm going to shoot right after this one. So subscribe, like, fave, share. Please subscribe to my channel, please, please, please. Megan, M-E-G-A-N, Shepherd, S-H-E-P-P-A-R-D, 81. And if you want to email me, it's the same thing, at gmail.com. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.